We are all but vessels.
Yeah.
For Mother God.
That's right.
She still lives within us. Even though she's dead.
She ascended.
Yeah.
To be with Robin.
That part is just mind-blowing.
Right, let's get into it.
Okay.
What's your name?
Lisa.
And how do we describe ourselves here?
Hi, I'm Sister Lisa.
And I'm Brother Dan. And this is Siblings in Zion. Back from another hiatus. We're going to talk about some other weird culty phenomenon stuff that we've been indoctrinated with.
Enough about Mormonism.
Via documentaries such as Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God.
Yes.
I watched this, what was it, 6 months or so ago?
Yeah, and you were like, you
gotta. And you finally did. How long ago was that?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
I got sick and I needed to be...
Healed?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say distracted, entertained.
You got more than you bargained for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't need to explain everything.
Sure.
You should watch this show, this documentary. It's on Max, formerly known as HBO Max, whatever. And there's also a bunch of stuff on YouTube. You can get the same general consensus of what this was. But for the last at least 10 to 15 years, this woman, Amy Carlson.
Right.
Seemingly normal woman, just kind of abandoned her whole life. I think she had 3 kids.
Daniel, brother Dan.
Yeah.
She did ecstasy.
Well, she did a lot.
So that's a gateway drug.
Was blown. And then she's just chasing that spiritual journey ever since. And it took her basically to, man, what a ride.
What a ride.
She started with general, spiritual talk of Mother Earth and chakras and
online discussion forums.
Yeah.
She met someone else through that space. He became Father God. They both started making videos together. And then she really just launched from there.
Yeah, she eventually said that she was God, Mother God, the creator of all life.
Mm.
Amy Carlson, as she would be known at this time. And boy, was she nutty. And she just kept getting worse. At the end, she was basically just a drunk maniac, barking at people who believed seemingly wholeheartedly that she was the creator of all life.
Yeah.
In this
but she
body.
Was so worn down by the weight of the world and humanity not paying attention to her and her mission and her message.
She needed her medicine.
Right. To help her cope with the difficulties, because she could feel everything.
Yeah.
And
can you imagine?
They just weren't paying enough attention.
I mean, I get a little anxious in my body. I need a vodka too.
Sure.
So I can't imagine if it was
everyone.
All the anxieties of the universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is your takeaway from this?
I can't say that the takeaway is wildly different from any other cult documentary, but I think her story is very captivating, and the arc that her story follows, I just don't feel like we see that very often. The way that she started out as seemingly so just kind of normal, whatever that means, and then she left her children.
Yeah.
She had 3 children and she left them, and
she pieced out.
I'm really curious at what point.
She was a manager at McDonald's.
Right. Yeah. The documentary said that she did ecstasy, and then I just am really curious about what happened in her mind through those crucial years when she was forming this new identity, and what were the primary influences for her to take this so far? Was it the first man she met who was a lot older than her and shared similar ideologies?
The first of what?
The first
6?
Yeah. I don't remember how many people she was with who also became Father God.
Mm-hmm.
But just that we don't know what we're capable of doing.
Mm.
Like, did she ever think when she was a manager at McDonald's as a mom, like just living her family life, that this would be her end, you know?
Drinking so much colloidal silver that she's blue.
Right.
And drunk off her ass and
basically mummified before she was dead.
Oh boy.
You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, she would have fallen apart internally, but
yeah,
we'll get to that part.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know if I can really succinctly sum up what I think my takeaway is, but it just is boggling. Truly.
I mean, megamaniacal people are a dime a dozen. It's who you get to literally buy into it.
Yeah.
Is the real fascination.
Yeah.
Like, there was not just a handful of people. Some of them came and went, but even if you have like 5 or 6, if they are fully on board and devoted, and they do anything you say, anything you want, give you everything, they'll empty their bank accounts and wait on you hand and foot.
And your only job is to
just keep them
drink Mai Tais in Hawaii until the people throw you out.
Literally chase you away because they're not going to be having any of that shit. No, her mistake was saying that she was the Hawaiian god Pele.
Oh, yeah.
And like, no, you can fuck right off.
What's your takeaway?
People are weird, man.
It just gets weird.
People are weird. They're gullible. They want to believe so much that they'll believe some really weird stuff in order to fulfill that desire for like connection to the universe, to feel like this life isn't impermanent and that they're special.
Yeah.
And then there really is, I can imagine, and it's, time and time again, there is powerful sense of like everyone else is wrong. We actually are so enlightened and in tune that we do have this truth, and everyone should know it. Unfortunately, they don't. And it's worth doing the work in order to get the message out there. But we got it. Lucky us.
And it's up to them to help the rest of the world rise to reach that higher vibration.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. So they take her to, what's her final destination?
She died in Ashland, Oregon.
She died in Ashland, but then they took her body across state lines.
Back to Colorado.
Back to Crestone. Right. And that's where she's found by the police.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about Crestone when we talked about grieving and death, and how Crestone has that open air crematory, and how it's just kind of like a hub for spiritual thinking and UFO spottings, and it just makes sense that something like this would develop here.
Truth is, there are places, I believe, on the earth where the veil is thin, as my grandma would say, between the worlds, and this is one of these places.
The veil is thin. Where have we heard that before?
Just on the other side.
They all had spiritual names, a key part of a successful cult.
Change your name.
Change your name. She just seemed to be just grasping for a direction. Like looking for meaning.
Not satisfied with this American life. One of the things that I picked up recently, which I don't think I had before, was with the first quote unquote father god. They would look at these cloud formations and they thought that they were ships.
Oh, like UFOs.
Yeah. And then there were people in them.
Yeah.
And they were just like hanging out.
Yeah.
Some of their early videos are like, oh, look at that one. Look at that cloud chip.
Right.
Whoa, man.
Yeah. Clearly some mental health issues at play.
Yeah, you can hear it in their voice.
I mean, like, again, I just feel like this line between wanting to be connected and feel connected to the earth and what's happening, and believing that we are like a miracle, that life is a miracle,
Mm-hmm.
and to just be outside and enjoy nature. And why does that so easily become otherworldly? Or why does it have to become something supernatural? Why can't it just stay natural?
Right.
You know?
It is on its own the realization that we didn't come, well, depends on how you look at it. You and I wouldn't say that we came to the world. We came out of the world and we're a part of it. We're a part of the earth. We come from it just like trees, but we're like trees who became capable of disconnected from the ground and walking on it.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, okay, well, there's so much more mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find an explanation
Mm-hmm.
for all of it.
Yeah.
Including that I made it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a God and it's me, actually. So listen up.
Yeah. That's the leap that...
I want chicken parmesan. Bring it to me. You brought me meatballs. Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
She's just, yeah, you stupid whore. You brought me meatballs. I said chicken parmesan.
Yeah. It's pretty wild what this evolves into. But it starts as just like, we are vibing.
Yeah.
You know?
We are, this is vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So in this documentary, it's not just like an investigative expose on this woman. It's really the story of the people who followed her. And a lot of them are in it telling their own story. And that's all you really need to see how weird it is. You don't have to point it out.
Mm-hmm.
But there's all the classic hallmarks of a cult.
Mm-hmm.
They get their spiritual names. Point number 1, change your name, change your identity.
Yeah.
Disconnect from your family.
Yeah, big one. I mean, one of them, his dad, like, I think overdosed on like Oxycontin. And of course that's going to like leave you with a giant hole in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you're grieving something and life is very confusing. Of course you're going to want to find community.
And this is a uniquely 21st century type of thing where it all comes from the internet. That's how she started. That's how people found her. And when they knew where to go, people would just show up. I'm in it. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
One woman brought like 3 kids. That was a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's people in desperate situations who want to be around like-minded people.
Yeah. Some of them, despite what they're saying, seem fairly together.
Yeah.
And coherent.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them, you just see the mental illness in their eyes.
Yeah. Like Father Universe God.
Mm-hmm. The last one?
Yeah.
What was his name? Jason?
I think so.
He's just a drunk lunatic.
Well, yeah, addicted to meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a scary guy.
Yeah. I thought he was very interesting.
He's interesting, yeah. He's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, she had to like move away from him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he comes back. But like, he's also the one that like, she basically died in his arms.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's because he was just going to take over.
But he didn't end up getting any of the money.
Probably not. But because off of that, since she died, of course, this is going to happen, several splinter groups.
Yeah.
One of them is him and
the other fathered god of the
Father
earth.
Universe.
They live together. Yeah. Or at least that's what the documentary
said. And they
said.
do their weird live streams and ask for money, and I'm sure they get some.
Yeah, that's fair. At the end, the guy who was in charge of finances the whole time, everything was in his name, and he ended up with all of it.
Yeah, he was, if he really believed it, I don't know, but he sure took advantage of it. Okay, so she basically drinks herself to death, plus was ingesting tons of colloidal silver, which is so stupid. And everyone should know that. I mean, like Jim Baker.
But they made it.
Yeah.
They homemade it. It's their
home
colloidal
alchemy.
Silver. Okay?
Pure alchemy.
Yeah. That'll heal you.
No. It turns you blue. I mean, at best. And then it will kill you.
I mean, she was drinking large quantities.
Yeah. Like a gallon. And
I think
they were
it was
selling
like a quart a day.
It was way too much.
It was too much.
Any is too much. Televangelists were trying to sell that shit immediately when COVID happened. as like a cure-all
Mhm.
for everything. It's total bullshit. So she falls apart. She dies. They don't believe she's actually dead for a while. They're like using magnetic readers. They're like, oh, there's activity. She's not
charge.
dead. Oh, she's warm actually. I can feel her squeezing my hand. They kept her body for what, months?
Something like
It was
that.
literally mummified. You couldn't see her eyes because they, I don't know, sunk into her head. She dies in Ashland. They take her back to Colorado, put her in a bed, wrap her up in Christmas lights and blankets, and she's just there.
Which, again, in a lot of cultures is very normal, but
I
not
understand.
in this one.
No. And that's how the police found her, because that guy who took all the money also told the police she's been dead for a while.
The financial advisor for the cult. He also claimed that she cured him of cancer, was originally how they met.
Yeah, not true.
Through different platforms, like as Marilyn Monroe, she spread it through the movies.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. What did they call that? The like group of celebrities
like
on
the
that.
Galactic Council
Right.
or whatever. She said that she was in tune with all these. And why is it celebrities? But
why?
Dead celebrities that were like guiding her as angels or
like
whatever.
Collaged on a poster board. And
Yeah.
she's among them.
Chief among them is Robin fucking Williams.
I was so confused. I was like, why him?
He died when they were kind of at their apex. So I think she just,
Oh, that was when I was on my mission.
I think she just was probably on a live stream, learned that he died, and then just
He's
folded
joined
that into the
council.
story.
And then, of course, they make more money and she starts buying all of these spiritual material objects, like singing bowls and crystals and
Oh, yeah.
dresses and jewelry. And
We got to have crystals.
you got to have your crystals. I mean, if you don't have your crystals,
You ain't vibing.
you're in trouble.
On the one hand, I can find some empathy for people like this.
Yeah, totally.
But then they become accomplices in perpetuating deeply insane bullshit
Right.
and putting kids in danger.
I want to say it crosses a line, but like it's not inherently bad until it starts to harm the people who are involved and the
Mhm.
people around them. Yeah.
So she claimed that she was incarnated over 500 times with the past lives, including
Wow.
Cleopatra, Jesus, Joan of Arc, Harriet Tubman, Marilyn Monroe, Helena Blavatsky, who we haven't talked about before, but she's another one who she came up with theosophy. And she was around the mid to late 1800s as well. So, I mean, during that hotbed time. She also said that she communed with this council of beings.
The Galactics.
Mm-hmm. She's an interesting person. And she was also Elvis Presley.
Oh.
So.
He was special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So she regularly communed with the Galactics, which included Robin Williams, Patrick Swayze, John Lennon, Whitney Houston, Prince, Steve Irwin, Carrie Fisher, Rodney Dangerfield, Tupac Shakur.
Wow.
Chris Farley. I mean, just who's who. And then also Donald Trump.
And
some
also,
reason.
who's not dead?
No. I wish he was. Not by a bullet, just gone, just out of our lives.
Just magically.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, what it really comes down to is she was an insane person who said insane things, and some people believed her.
Yeah. Like at the end, when she was basically bedridden and had to be carried from place to place,
Mhm.
she really could not have survived without the cooperation of this community.
Mhm.
Like they were doing everything for her.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have been in that position if they wouldn't have been feeding her colloidal silver and every drink that she wanted and not taking her to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because at some point said, don't
Right.
ever take me to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then eventually she would say, I should go to the hospital.
I should maybe go. And they were like, no, we're
Nope.
not taking you to an Earth hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the idea that they have that she has all of this power.
Mhm.
But really what's happening when you look at at it objectively is they have the power.
Yeah.
They are all propping her up and making her what she is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
That's
this
true. Joseph Smith wouldn't have had shit if people didn't believe him.
Relationship. Yeah. It really lies in what the followers make out of whatever this person initially claims.
And eventually these leaders have to give the people what they want out of it, even if it's not what they're coming up with.
Yeah. Like at the end, one of the followers was saying that Mother God, like towards the end, was in so much pain and stuff that she was just like, maybe I am crazy. Maybe I made all of this up. Maybe I'm not Mother God. Like, and she was talking about how that was just a sign that she was just closer to ascending. Not that that was actually true, you know? Or that she was closer to the truth by saying those things. It's so heartbreaking that the delusion at some points slipped for her. And I just can't imagine like how painful that would be to experience, to have any kind of clarity around like, what have I done? You know?
I mean, same with Warren Jeffs. Like, he is on camera, on a recording, talking to, I believe it's his brother.
Yeah.
Telling him, I'm not a prophet.
Yeah.
I'm not anything. It's all a sham. But then the guy's like, but no, you are. He's still like leading from jail, but he fully admitted that it was all bullshit. They won't let him.
It's too far gone. Yeah. It's evolved too far outside of himself.
An idea for a topic of discussion that I've had before is like women can be false prophets too. And there's more than you would think. There's her. There's another documentary on Max called The Way Down about Gwen Shamblin, who combined like weight loss,
The Way Down,
culture, and prosperity gospel with Christianity, and she was insane, greedy and manipulative. And then there's Teal Swan, of course.
Oh yeah,
we've talked about that a little bit, right? She knows better, I think, and I think she's just really manipulative. I don't know how prevalent she still is.
From Costa Rica or wherever she is.
There was Lori Vallow, who was married to Chad Daybell.
Oh yeah.
You might recognize both of those names because they've been in the news, because he was sentenced to death?
Good Lord.
He made all these like post-apocalyptic Mormon fan fiction.
Didn't they kill their children? Is that what?
Or at least had them killed. Yeah, he was sentenced to death pretty recently. Good.
Holy shit.
And Lori Vallow, guilty on all charges. Life in prison with no possibility of parole.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they're monsters. Straight up monsters.
Lord.
More than just I think it was a couple of kids that were killed and buried, and then they just pretended like they were somewhere else. I think it was his previous wife died suspiciously. I think somebody else did. Like sounds
a little Lafferty to me. They're both Mormon
initially. But they improvised. With it, and they really leaned into like the doomsday. Apocalyptic stuff.
Yeesh.
That's a tough one, but they got what they deserve.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time with language like they got what they deserve and they're monsters.
Say more.
I think how we each conceptualize other people and other people's behavior is so conditioned on like whether we believe we have choice or not.
Oh, I mean, yeah, free will is a totally valid discussion.
Sure.
To be had, but whether or not we have free will, we do have some semblance of freedom of choice. Like we don't think our thoughts. We don't always choose our thoughts. We choose to some degree to engage with them, and we certainly choose to some degree to act on them.
Yeah.
And they killed kids.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're good
and
people.
They have a whole story and explanation for why, because there were zombies, apparently.
Well, yeah.
So whether or not they choose to be, they are monsters.
I guess I'm just focused on like, I'm not saying I condone doing that. And I also have compassion
She
for
has to
like
be in jail for the rest of her life.
what circumstances contributed to that happening and for that state of mind to occur.
Mhm.
I guess I'm just like so much in the habit of putting myself in the shoes of other people that it's hard for me to be like, what would I do if I were that person?
I get it. I mean, she was psychotic.
Yeah.
But she was beautiful, so she got away with a lot. There's footage of her, this is Lori Vallow, talking to the police after some horrific event that she knows had happened, and she's just completely lying to them.
Mm.
But she sounds completely believable because she's aware of what she's doing.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
The death penalty
It just seems
is a different
harsh. Yeah.
discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent people have been put to death with that device of justice.
Mm-hmm.
And one unjustly killed person is one too many.
Yeah. And if the goal is for them to die, why not just do it in a humane way? Why do we have to torture them to death?
Yeah, there are varying degrees of torturous methods.
Yeah.
What would be the most humane, though?
How physician-assisted suicide, like something that's
what they do. Basically, there's lethal injection.
But why can't it be something that like you wouldn't use what they use in a hospital? Is what I'm saying, and a lot goes wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a John Oliver episode about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, why do we use like such shitty methods for it? And because no one wants to disclose that they're the ones manufacturing the drug that they use, just shit gets fucked up. You know?
Yeah.
I am so eloquent. Yeah, all of this to say I struggle with how we conceptualize people who do bad things.
Yeah. No, that's fair. This is pretty cut and dry.
I don't know if it is.
You don't know the story, I guess. Because if you did...
I mean, maybe my perspective would change if I had more information.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're all still human beings.
Uh-huh. And it's one thing to make grandiose claims about who you are and what you know and what you can do. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to use that to end other people's lives in order to get away from them and live your own fantastical life. Yeah. That's where it's beyond the line of like freedom. Yeah, she has 3 consecutive life sentences.
Oh, whoa. What does that even mean?
It means she's in jail forever, for certain.
Certain.
I mean, it's just a technical... You could serve them in parallel. Like you'd have 3 murder charges and you're serving life for each one of them. I don't know what the delineation is about why he gets death. Yeah. But I think he was more directly involved. She basically told him what to do. Wow. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
It's disturbing.
Very. And it comes from Mormonism. Hooray! Like I said, there are several splinter groups, offshoots from this Love Has Won cult, including 2 of the young ladies. I forget what they're calling their little offshoot. Who cares? But it's Hope and Aurora from this group. And of course, they have their own show that you can subscribe to and get a heavy dose of weird psychobabble garbage. I just chose a random video from their little YouTube channel. And the description for this episode is, we are approaching the final karmic clearing during August as we pass through the 8-8 Lions Gate and prepare for Pluto to re-enter the 29th degree of Capricorn on September 1st. All those who have done their work through the Pluto in Capricorn transit will be ready to receive their rewards, while they misspelled it. Well, who have not will need to pass through their karmic initiation. And to listen to these people talk to each other it's pretty cringy. I mean, it's harmless, I guess.
Sure.
But they're talking as if they have all the secrets to the universe and how it works and how it communicates. And
yeah,
it's really wild.
Yeah, I want to delineate between like astrology as
it's,
like a practice and an
it's beyond
ideology.
astrology.
Yeah, it's morphed into something completely different, but like I just want to
I'll read my horoscope just like anybody else.
Sure.
I'm not going to.
I think astrology is fun. It's also like very, very old. You know, I don't want to like throw that under the bus just for anybody listening.
But I would say even people who are truly interested would listen to these two and be, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'll play just a little snippet for you right now so you can get the gist.
Once Pluto's officially back in Aquarius and like never to dip back again, it's just going to be like one ego death after the other. Like it's almost like kind of how that degree, it's like relentless. Like it just, you can't get away from it.
Right, you can't escape until you pretty much surrender. Is
exactly.
What it's saying is like
you can't escape.
You can walk around the boulders, you can ignore it, you can do, you know what I mean? Like it's inevitable that this has to happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, I agree, and I definitely feel like with the last couple months of the summer since the solstice, you know, it's been a lot of purging. I feel for people, a lot of clearing.
Crazy.
And it would line up with this new moon kind of hinting at embodiment, you know, embodying the light, getting out of the lower Leo energy, because there's a higher expression to everything, but obviously Leo is the most symbolic of where the collective consciousness is at.
Yes.
So all of this happening in Leo, we have obviously, you know, all the events that just listed with all the planets.
I guess all that is to say, this is a very interesting story, even for those who, you know, are religious in some relatively normal way. Would probably find this pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
Just how easily we can be duped.
Yeah.
And taken advantage of.
Yeah. And then slip into kind of an echo chamber and just reinforce these
just
ideas.
Totally lose your life.
Yeah.
And your identity.
Right. And become really identified with that way of thinking. And then you're just really in it.
People like this often talk either directly or in terms like, we're all living in the matrix and they're awakened.
Right.
And you got to wake up.
Yeah.
Man.
Us versus them.
Yeah.
We are crystal clear in what we're doing.
Yeah.
We are living with intention and awareness.
Higher vibrations.
Higher and higher. I was, just as a personal anecdote, I was visiting my boyfriend's hometown in Alaska, and I was standing at the kitchen sink looking out the window, and I could see the next door neighbor's front door. And two people came and knocked on the door, and the person answered, but like the dogs were barking and it was just like kind of chaotic. And she tried to open the door just like a crack to talk to them, and they were like, oh. And I just got like a strong flashback to my mission where that would happen all the time. Like you'd be interrupting someone around dinner time, and just it's annoying.
Classic.
And then I realized that they were wearing name tags and they actually were sister missionaries. And I was like, ah! And we were right next door. So I was like bracing myself for them to knock on his parents' door. And his dad's really nice. And like he has Mormon ancestry. And so
he's got pioneer stock, right?
Yeah, totally. Like his family settled southeastern Utah. He talked to them for a little bit. I think he used to be more like, oh, well, where are the plates? You know? And he doesn't really do that anymore. He just kind of chats with them and asks them where they're from and stuff. One of them was from Utah, and he was like, oh yeah, me too. And they're like, oh yeah, do you like believe in Jesus Christ? And he's like, yeah. And they were like, how do you follow him? And he was like, by being nice to people, like by taking care of his children, you know? And not that he like worships Jesus Christ, but like, yeah, he was a guy and he had some good things to say, you know? And then he was like, well, I should go. We're going to eat dinner. Like they left, but it's just like, it was just a big, it was a moment, a flashback.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And then I showed them like some pictures from my mission. And
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You mean his family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just my little encounter with Mormonism recently.
Yeah, I haven't seen very many missionaries.
I have seen them both times we've gone back to visit
Really?
His family. Elders from afar one time, and then the sisters came to the door this time. I've seen a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, but
Sure.
not very many Mormons. Yeah. Anything else coming up for you?
Well, I just found it interesting, and I think there's been quite a bit of talk about it in the ex-Mormon sphere. But the church is trying to erect a temple in Fairview, Texas. I think they would call that the McKinney Temple, and the town is not into it.
Do they have specific reasons?
Too big,
Just
too
Texas, or
towering,
too big, too tower?
intrusive. They don't want the traffic.
Yeah.
And
the traffic of no Mormons actually using the temple.
Right. Most locals don't want the temple or really any kind of towering structure to disrupt what they consider a picturesque landscape and dark, starry skies.
Hey, that's totally fair.
Fairview has 8 religious buildings already in town, all of which follow zoning ordinances, said this guy, who was a member of the United Methodist Church. So
would a temple not follow the zoning ordinances?
It would
be too tall.
Not.
Yeah.
The town council denied the permit request without prejudice, meaning the church can rework their proposal. But they are
good for them.
Being denied. And I don't really know of.
Yeah, when does that happen?
Yeah. So
I mean, that's totally
do
fair.
Something at some point. But,
it's lit up all night long.
And it is towering.
It is large.
Depending on which version that they build.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the point, is it's sitting on a hill.
Yeah.
It's the light under a bushel that cannot be hid. Okay?
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 There has been discussions a few times about like spire length. How big does it need to be?
Yeah.
And, practicality of that. So, good luck.
Shut them down. Shut down those temples.
We don't want them.
We don't want them. Too big, too bright. I'd rather see the stars. Thank you.
Yeah, people get all excited when Russell Nelson announces more temples, but isn't there like more temples announced than exist currently?
Something like that.
He just keeps announcing them. The one in Shanghai is never going to exist, right?
Probably not. Probably not.
Probably not.
Can't we just focus on other things that actually need to be taken care of?
All that money.
That money.
Jeez.
Give it back.
You could do so much. They could be the single largest force of real substantive change on Earth if they chose to. They could actually be a pristine example of
what to
Christianity.
Actually do. Yeah. What are we waiting for?
No, we got to build ornate temples and invest in building malls.
Holiness to the Lord.
And the stock market.
Yeah.
And hoarding hundreds of billions of dollars for the time that will come when money will be meaningless. Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. Well, that's infuriating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we made an episode.
Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Incredible.
So there's this other weird culty thing with a couple documentaries that we watched.
Twin Flames?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that next time.
One of which was produced by friend of the show, Cecilia Peck. Hi, Cecilia. And I think next time we'll chat about that one. And maybe we'll try to get our good friend, Brother Jordan, over here because he's the one that turned me on to that phenomenon.
Brother Jordan.
So we'll see about that.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. So until next time, whenever the hell that is.
Until we meet again.